Reggie Miller called the Warriors and Blazers last night as Damian Lillard had 61. He's got Mavericks and Blazers coming up on Thursday. That'll be 10:30 Eastern on TNT. We were talking about Damian Lillard that put up 61, but I don't know how many people will talk about the fact that he put up 61. Your thoughts on watching Lillard last? And granted, it's against Golden State. This isn't the Golden State from a couple of years ago.
Phenomenal performance last night. Think about this. Shorthanded. Didn't have his running mate in C.J. McCollum out with the high ankle sprain. Possibly could be back this Thursday versus Dallas. But an unbelievable shooting performance carrying that team. Because at one point, and again, Golden State was shorthanded as well. They've been like this all season. But they were playing with a bunch of G League guys and pretty much was controlling the tempo, the pace, and the style of play. But Lillard got hot. He stayed hot, made 10 threes. But you're right. A lot of people won't talk about it because, A, it was a West Coast game. It went to overtime. It was late. So a lot of people didn't see it. The basketball purists did. But just a phenomenal offensive performance by Lillard.
If I said you could have Damian Lillard or James Harden, is that obvious?
Well, I would have to ask what style of play because they both play the style of play. A lot of isolation basketball. I believe James Harden is number one in isolation plays, and Damian Lillard is probably third, with Russell Westbrook either 2 or 4, because they both play the same style of play. It's a lot of isolation, high screen basketball. There's not a lot of passes. So
who can you win with? If I said you're starting your team, and look, I'm down on James Harden today, this season. You know, you go 1 for 17 from 3-point range. He's playing too many minutes. There has to be a point where Mike D'Antoni says to him, make the extra pass here. Let's just see if there's something else there, or you can get an easier shot. He doesn't make it easy on himself.
I understand where you're coming. Everything you just said is correct. So I will ask you this. Who do you want him to pass the basketball to on that team?
Well,
to Russell Westbrook, a non-shooter? To Austin Rivers, a non-shooter? He throws alley-oops once he drives.
I just don't know if Harden is so far down the road that this is the style that he can play and wants to play.
I think this is his style, and I would be curious if you put him or surrounded him, for instance, let's say with a Steve Kerr where they have, 330-something passes during a game?
Yeah.
The problem with the Warriors, they don't have, KG and Steph and Clay shooters. If you put him in a system where the ball is moving and then, when it gets, 6 to 8 seconds left on the shot clock and the ball is swung to you, then you make a play. I would be curious to see that. I understand your frustration and a lot of people's frustration with Harden, but to me it's style of play. That's a head coaching issue as well as personnel, Daryl Morey issue. Because who do you want him to pass the ball to? And I agree, he's playing way too minutes. We are enamored and we marvel at James Harden during the regular season because he puts up these gaudy numbers when he has these 50 and 60-point games and he makes, 10 to 15 threes. It looks great. Well, when he's tired and he's not shooting the ball well and he goes 1 for 17 from 3, then the frustration comes out. Like, pass the ball, dude. Who do you want him to pass it to, though?
Well, I wouldn't have brought in Russell Westbrook, first of all. I would have looked to have found somebody who is an off-guard, shooting guard, and not somebody who needs to have the ball all the time. You're not going to find Klay Thompson, but you need to find somebody who moves without the ball. When he gets the ball, then he's a knockdown shooter. Maybe if it's a Devin Booker or somebody. Like you just need something in there that it feels like you can count on and throw it to them and be confident. I just don't think that he's confident with anybody. I don't think those players expect the ball. And last night, you can't go. Great players don't go 1 for 17. He's had at least 10 misses in a game this year from 3-point range. I think 12 times. I mean, it's been crazy what he's done.
I just personally think he's getting a little bit worn down. A lot of minutes and this style, it wears on you, and he's settling. I think he's always been one of the great drivers in our game where he can initiate contact and step back, but I think he's just settling and the reason why he's settling, he's tired. He
can't lead the league in minutes, Reg, because every postseason, what do we say about James Harden? He's tired.
He runs out of gas.
Yes.
He runs out of gas and he's tired.
It's going to happen again.
But again, that's more personnel. You're more so down on James Harden, the player, whereas you need to look at people that are making the decisions for James Harden.
Okay, I'll be down on Daryl Morey as well.
Okay, that's fair enough, as you should.
All right, I will. I'll be angry at Daryl Morey right now. The Lakers get blown out in Boston. Big deal, little deal, no deal?
Little deal, not a big deal. Look, they're 39-8, 4 games ahead of Denver, who is currently second. They're 8-2 over their last 10, and a lot of those wins came without Anthony Davis. So
one of the top 5 players in the game.
One of the top 5. Yes, we both agree on that now. So it's a little deal to me. It's a blip. Now, if you tell me they were 5-5 and they lost a lot of those games, while Anthony Davis was out, to me it'd be a little bit bigger deal. But it's one game on the road against a franchise where there's history. So it's one game.
Okay, but it feels like something is missing, or we're led to believe there's something missing with the Lakers. So what is it? When they have everybody, is there still something missing with this team?
In my opinion, no. I think you would probably want more consistency in their shooting from, Caldwell Pope or Danny Green. You'd probably want a little bit more consistency and rounding into shape. If you're Kuzma, I think shooting will always be the issue with them. Mm-hmm. If they're shooting the basketball from 3 because LeBron is driving and collapsing the defense and Anthony Davis is getting double and triple team, if those guys that I just mentioned are knocking down threes, the Lakers are unbeatable. Shooting will always be the issue to me come playoff time. If those guys are hitting, I'm fine. When they struggle, the Lakers struggle.
Is Kyle Kuzma still on the trading block?
I wouldn't trade him. I don't know what piece they can get to improve 39-8. 39-8.
What about the possibility of bringing in? I wouldn't trade him either, especially he doesn't cost you anything. What about bringing in Derrick Rose?
This is almost the same situation we're talking about with James Harden. For Derrick Rose to be successful, what does he have to do?
Have the ball in his.
Yeah. He's ball dominant. He's got to have the ball in his hand. That takes the ball out of LeBron James' hands. So, no, I don't think that would be a great fit, the Lakers, for Derrick Rose. Playing fantastic, playing great, but I just don't think the Lakers would be a great destination for him.
By the way, Kemba Walker finally beat LeBron James. He had lost.
Had you known of that even before yesterday? I had not even known of that.
No, I didn't know that. But I think Michael Jordan beat somebody 30 out of 30 times. McLovin, do you know that?
Sherman Douglas.
I want to know that player.
Sherman Douglas lost all 30 games he faced Michael Jordan.
I wouldn't put Look, Kemba Walker is an all-star. Sherman Douglas was never an all-star, I don't believe.
Yeah.
So that's a little surprising that Kemba Walker was it 0-28 until last night?
Yeah.
0-28?
Zion makes
but
his.
Look, it's a team game. Yeah. I mean, it's a unique stat, but I was a little taken back by that. I was a little surprised by that.
Zion makes his debut tomorrow night, Reg, against San Antonio.
I'll believe it when I see it. I'm happy for this young man. You and I, we've been going back and forth saying they should shelve him, but obviously, the general manager, David Griffin, and them have different plans. So we'll see. I know he'll be on a minutes restriction. What are we looking? 15 minutes probably tomorrow, 20?
Yeah, I don't know. What happens sometimes is somebody gets out there and get into a rhythm, and then you don't want to take him out. But I just figure that if you get him out there, let him see how he feels. But now, now the Pelicans have been playing well.
Yeah.
And now you have to start thinking about, can we make the playoffs? How badly do you want to make the playoffs this year? And then that's going to factor into his minutes.
They are, 3.5, 4 behind that 8th spot in the Western Conference. Holiday has been playing off the charts. 49 points for Brandon Ingram, I believe, in that big win overtime versus Utah. So the pieces are there, and now you're adding the future face of the franchise, an explosive player. I mean, there's a lot of upside into bringing him back because these other guys are playing well, so he doesn't have to do as much. I just hope he doesn't re-aggravate or something happens where you have to shelve him and shut him down.
Now, I did say in the preseason when he was healthy that he wasn't going to win the Rookie of the Year. Ja Morant, to me, has lived up to that billing. He has been spectacular. And if moving forward, you could redraft. Would you change anything, Reggie Miller?
No, knowing what we know now, correct?
Yep.
And I don't get a chance to see him tomorrow and see how he plays and flows. No, right?
Nope.
I'm still going to go with Zion because he puts people in the seats.
Okay. Ja Morant is a better player, I think.
Right now, he's a better player because he's had court time. But if I'm a general manager and I'm in a small market like New Orleans and I want to put people in the seats and I'm going to be a traveling show, I'm going to draft Zion.
Yeah, I understand that. And I agree with that logic. If Memphis, and it's not fair to ask this of Memphis, but I will. If Memphis had the opportunity right now and you could take Ja Morant, knowing what you know, or you could have Zion there, would Memphis take Zion because they're a smaller market?
Absolutely.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
It's all about economics.
We were talking about Derek Jeter, that he might go in 100% of the votes for the Hall of Fame. Could Derek Jeter be overrated?
I don't overrated. Was he a 4 or 5-time champ?
I think he won 5.
I don't think he's overrated. Now, has there ever been a player that's gone in with 100%? Now, Mario Rivera was.
Yeah, he was 100.
Okay. I think Derek Jeter will be 100 as well. Not overrated.
They don't publicize the vote totals to go into the Hall of Fame, Basketball Hall of Fame, do they?
Not that I know of. It's a secret ballot as well, I think, too.
Would you want to know? Yeah. Would you want to know the percentage of votes that you got, and who voted against you, Reg?
Would I want to know that?
Yeah.
Knowing my personality, yes, I probably would want to know, and I would probably hold a grudge. But look, I was very lucky and fortunate to be selected to the Hall of Fame. Oh, by the way, 2 Hall of Famers speaking to one another right now, which is kind of cool.
Thank you.
Right? Come on, right?
Yeah.
Come on, Theodore. Theodore, hey, I know you're turning. Look, I can't see you right now, but I know you're turning a little red because you're embarrassed. But 2 Hall of Famers talking right now. This is kind of cool, right?
I know, but I got 100% of it. I got 100% of the vote.
You what?
Yeah, I got 100.
Well, I know I did. Well, you're a real Hall of Famer. I'm just like, oh, God, we got to put someone in this year. Let's go with Miller. That's what kind of Hall of Famer I'm in.
It's still one of my favorite times that I ever had in this business when I sat down with you and Mark Jackson and we had cigars and I was the mediator. You guys never agreed on who's the better quarterback, the better boxer. You always you were opposite ends with it, and we just sat and talked, and I didn't know you. I had covered Mark when he was at St. John's. I knew him a little bit, but I didn't know you, and I thought you were sort of not friendly with the media. And then we sat down and just started talking, and I went, man, that was fun. I still tell that story. I do.
Peter, we were the original, pardon the interruption, right? Okay, of Wilbon and Kornheiser, and you were like the mediator.
Yeah,
you were in the middle. We were we originated that.
You're right. You're right.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful for us because as knowledgeable of all sports you are, it was great to have your opinion to be like, well, like when I would say something, you were like, well, good point, but Mark is saying this about Tony Gwynn, and like we were there for hours just talking sports, which was fabulous.
But
so,
anytime I disagreed with you or Mark, it'd be like, who, Montana or Marino? And I go, well, I love Marino, but, Montana, how can you say, like, it was just, you guys would explode. Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, how can you say that? It was just, we were so loud and obnoxious that day, but it was fun. That was the first time I got to see Reggie Aloysius Miller in full bloom.
Well, to get back to why we're talking about this, it's because of your sports knowledge. Congratulations. I don't want to make light to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, there's a lot of people that are on the mic that wish they had, what you have. So, I'm just honored to be a part of the show and to call you a friend. We've had our differences in years past. We do butt heads, but I love that at the end of the day, I can call you one of my good friends, Theodore. Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you, Reg. Have fun, Mavericks Blazers. That'll be on Thursday night with Kevin Harlan and Allie LaForce at 10:30 Eastern on TNT. Thank you, Reg.
Thank you, Mr. Hall of Famer, Theodore.
Thank you, Famer.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.